And I remember getting a call from Sir Charles, and he said, congratulated me for being selected to the Barbados team that was going to Anguilla. I said, I was shocked, you know. I said, but when I caught myself, I said, but sir, I'm overseas right now. He said, well, practice is tomorrow at 9. So by that he means, look, this is a serious thing.
Yes.
Right? If you're on board, you're on board. And that was the character of the guy.
Then he bowled him. Full pitch. Played right across it and over it, and closes out. Bowled with a new ball which didn't pitch.
Ian, it's always a pleasure to be able to speak to you. How are you doing?
I'm good, Stephen. No? Long time now we've been chatted, but it's good that we had this opportunity.
Well, Ian, you're a former West Indies cricketer, and you are also a member of Cricket Legends of Barbados Incorporated. And on March 25th, there will be the unveiling of the Sir Charles Griffith statue. How are you looking forward to that event?
I will answer that not just as a West Indies cricketer, not just as a member of Cricket Legends of Barbados, but I'll answer as a proud West Indian. You know, to be honest with you, these gentlemen who have paved the way for cricketers such as myself to come through and have the opportunity to represent the West Indies. You could appreciate that being someone who's benefited from a lot of club cricket, I would have had the opportunity to meet with players of older generation who would have witnessed Sir Charles play and would have spoken to the magnificence of him as a cricketer. And what always comes true to me is like what pride persons of that era took. And it takes myself back to the journey of West Indies cricket. At the time in particular, you're looking at a West Indies team coming out in the 1950s, where you had individual brilliance emerging through W's. You had Valentine, and Ramadan, and so forth. And we were emerging, but we weren't champions yet. And then we moved from there into the 60s, where then you had a situation where you had our first black captain come to the fore, and he'd taken a group of talented people and taken an emerging team into a champion team. And that Sir Charles' career would have spanned, I think it's around 1960, I think it is, if you correct me if I'm wrong about it, 1960 to 1969.
Correct.
That decade, and how that represented in many ways that the first real dominance of West Indies cricket, and it's kind of the precursor to what happened in the 80s and 90s, you know. These gentlemen did so very, very much. And that Sir Charles, even though he played only 28 test matches, and we always marvel at that every time we speak, that a fellow would have played that probably in 2 or 3 years.
Yes.
And over a course of time he played, and the fact that worldwide, even though he played such few games, his impact is so renowned. Speaks to the man, speaks to his quality on the field. And then once again, the impact it had to us as a people. You know, you can imagine in the 60s, the pride that they would have given to so many of those generations who would have moved in the 50s, late 40s, when I think there was an act that in Britain that allowed that free movement of people from the colonies to go up there, England and so forth, to work. And the pride that they would have given those, particularly when you studied the 1963 series.
Yes.
That is so fondly remembered, and Sir Charles was in front of that. You know, he himself, I remember stories of him and Sir Red speaking of the Lord's Test and told them bowling near the whole last day or something like that.
Yes.
You know, unbelievable, and that serves as an inspiration for that generation. And that generation going overseas and sending back funds to assist with an emerging set of new independent islands.
Yes.
When you think of that collective impact on us as West Indian people and our development, this sort of recognition, you know, is most worthy. So I'm very, very happy for him.
And it's interesting, Ian, because Sir Charles Griffith formed with Sir Wesley Hall a pair of formidable Barbadian fast bowlers, which preceded the era that we spoke about of fast bowling dominance in the 70s, 80s, 90s. But how, with your interactions, is Sir Charles Griffith off the field?
So Charles is a consistent guy. I think what you get from Charles is consistency. He is who he is. He doesn't pretend to be anybody else. You mentioned Suarez and Sir Charles because they seem to go hand in hand.
Yes.
But you know, anybody who can be mentioned in the same breath as Suarez and still hold their own, because Suarez is a larger than life character in many ways, but Sir Charles isn't lost in the shadow of him by any stretch of the imagination. You know, I would have obviously, as a very young person, gone to cricket with my family. In that stage, you're going and starting in Kensington stand. Then when they built the Hall and Griffith stand, that was my stand of choice.
Yes.
You know, so when you sit in those stands and you see those great names, and then given the opportunity, and it was around 15 or 14 or so when the BC used to put on the under 15 clinics.
Yes.
And I have an opportunity to get a chance to meet him and Sir Gary. One of the things that I always marvel is how simple they made the game. They kept it simple. There was not a lot of biomechanics, and they tell you, watch the ball, are you bowling, look at your target, and so forth. So those guys were inspiring at that stage for me. And then going on a few years, I would say my next interaction with Sir Charles was when he was a Barbados selector. And the first time that I got selected for Barbados team, I was actually overseas in St. Kitts, watching the under-19 West Indies team. Having captained the under-19 West Indies the year before, I know a lot of the players. I took the opportunity, I was privileged enough to have gone and watched them in St. Kitts. And I remember getting a call from Sir Charles, and he said, congratulated me for being selected to the Barbados team that's going to Anguilla. I said, I was shocked, I said, but when I caught myself, I said, but sir, I'm overseas right now. He said, well, practice is tomorrow at 9. So by that he means, look, this is a serious thing.
Yes.
Right? If you're on board, you're on board. And that was the character of the guy. So I was always respectful for how he conducted himself and how he inspired. You think of the BCL, and they said, me being someone who plays so much club cricket, and you interact with those teams, and you hear how he would have molded a team like that, and the discipline he stood for. Once again, when you get a chance to meet the man,
yes,
and understand the man, it all made sense. It all reconciled back,
yes, because
he was consistent. So it's been an absolute privilege to spend some time with him and the other legends here at Cricket Legends over the years. I was very humbled in 2008 when I first joined the organization after I finished, and I came in the boardroom and it had Sir Charles, Suarez, Cammy Smith, Rob Branca, Joe Garner, some legends, yes, of the game, yes, and they embraced my entry, and it helped me so much in life and in my own personal development as a person, and then being able to interact and lead people in my own professional life.
Wonderful. Final question that we have for you, Ian. I mean, Sir Charles Griffith, he served as a coach, chairman of selectors, administrator, mentor, I'm sure, to many in the Barbados Cricket League, at the Empire Club, and Barbados in general. But in your adult life, is there any quality that you would have taken from your interactions with him that you actually practice in your daily life?
Dedication to detail. If you wanna succeed, you gotta put in your hard work. Even now, I dabble a little bit on Saturday still a little with cricket, and when you hear that I'm still playing, you still ask, you're practicing. Preparation is key. Preparation is key. If you want to succeed at anything, you got to prepare. You got to prepare well, and be focused in pursuit of excellence. And I've taken that, and I said, not just in my recreational cricket, but certainly as my professional life. And then trying to pass on those qualities to any young cricketers or any persons in my workforce. Try to instill those things as well.
Well, Ian, it's indeed been a pleasure, and I expect not only for you to be present at the unveiling, but for all of us to celebrate the rich greatness that Sir Charles Griffith has shown. So, thank you again.
It's a pleasure, and I look forward to the unveiling of that wonderful statue.